WNYC comes from Bank of America, offering access to resources and digital tools designed to help local to global companies make moves for their businesses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC News Hour on WNYC. Let's check in with London to see what they're working on. London, good morning.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm James Menendez. Today on News Hour, the European Parliament is expected to approve plans to regulate artificial intelligence tools. We'll hear what those plans are and assess their viability. Also, the criminal gangs using torture to extort money from the families of Afghan refugees crossing from Iran into Turkey. That's BBC NewsHour at 9 on WNYC.
On the next All of It, Netflix has begun cracking down on people sharing passwords with each other. We'll look at the initial results of that move and how it might affect other streaming services. Plus, a new book traces the history and contributions of queer people on Broadway. I'm Allison Stewart. Join me for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
It's 8:51, 70 and partly sunny right now. We have a small risk for severe weather, hail, and some damaging winds as well. Showers and possibly a thunderstorm today will reach up to 76 for a high. More storm and shower chances tonight. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 81. It's 8:51.
Imagine if a school bus ran like a Tesla.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by UiPath, providing organizations the UiPath AI-powered business automation platform. More at uipath.com/marketplace. UiPath, the foundation of innovation. And by Fidelity. A dedicated Fidelity advisor can help create a wealth plan for a full financial picture. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. First, in just over 5 hours, we'll hear from the guardians of interest rates about their inflation fight. The winking and the nodding from our central bankers is that they'll leave interest rates alone this time to let their previous hikes sink in. We will see. Markets Dow futures are down 0.2%, but S&P and NASDAQ futures are each up 0.2%. The 10-year interest rate is down slightly, 3.8%. Yesterday, there was music to the ears of the Fed team, with the consumer price index rising at an annual rate of 4% in May, the lowest retail inflation in 2 years. Yet the cost of rent was up 8.7% in a year. That's a lot, but there are other data from real estate firms such as Redfin and Zillow showing rental prices cooling. Marketplace's Henry Epp has that.
When the Bureau of Labor Statistics measures the cost of rent, they include how much Americans are paying under leases signed months ago. But private firms like to measure the cost to sign a new lease now. And that second measure is looking more positive for renters, says Igor Popov, chief economist at Apartment List.
Market rent growth has really peaked already a year ago and has actually been cooling dramatically over the past year.
To be clear, rents are still going up, he says, just no longer at a breakneck pace. One reason for that, a lot of long-awaited new apartments are finishing construction, says Taylor Marr at the real estate company Redfin.
Now the new supply is here and it's continuing to come. There's nearly 1 million rental units right now that are under construction.
But those new units aren't affordable to everyone. Most of them are geared toward middle to upper income households, says Jay Parsons at RealPage.
The consequence to that is that there's still a significant housing shortage for low and moderate income households.
It'll take more government action and subsidies, Parsons says, to fully meet demand. I'm Henry Epp for Marketplace.
And some deflation in used car prices. Cox Automotive finds used vehicle prices fell 2.7% April to May. That's largely higher interest rates at work. Using Nielsen data analyzed by a beverage industry consulting firm, Bud Light is no longer the number one beer in America. It is now Modelo Especial, according to the Wall Street Journal. This after some consumers took issue with a transgender person doing a Bud Light promotion. Marketplace's Nova Safo has more.
Anheuser-Busch's Bud Light made up more than 7% of all U.S. beer sales last month, according to consulting firm Bump Williams. Its competition from Modelo made up nearly 8.5%. In fact, Bud Light lost market share while other rivals, Coors Light and Miller Lite, also picked up customers in the lucrative U.S. beer market, worth some $120 billion. Anheuser-Busch's troubles come at a time of rising anti-LGBTQ sentiment across the country. In April, the company sent a personalized can of Bud Light to transgender Instagram influencer Dylan Mulvaney. The backlash spread online came from conservatives. Anheuser-Busch angered even more people for how it handled that backlash, putting 2 of its marketing executives on leave. Since April, the company's stock price is down nearly 20%. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business. From small business to big enterprise and everything in between, Amazon Business helps simplify the supplies buying process. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. And by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers what's next in cybersecurity innovation to protect today's digital way of life. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com. And by Grammarly, offering Grammarly Business to help companies large and small communicate better and move faster with enterprise-grade generative artificial intelligence. Learn more at grammarly.com/business.
When you think of a yellow school bus, what aroma comes to mind? Not that one. I mean diesel fumes. But that is changing with school buses going electric. As WABE's Molly Samuel reports, a nearly century-old Georgia company is on the vanguard of that shift.
Picture kids heading off to school. An early morning group toting backpacks and sports gear and lunchboxes waits as the big yellow school bus pulls up. Increasingly, though, the school bus actually sounds like this. School districts around the country are replacing their loud, old, more polluting buses with electric ones. And some of those buses are built by Bluebird in Fort Valley, Georgia.
These are the batteries right here.
Antonio Bryant teaches people to build the EV buses.
Pretty much everybody that come through here, I have a little hand in training them.
Electric buses are a growing focus for the company. Bluebird's Senior Vice President of Electrification, Britton Smith, says about 6% of the company's volume is electric now, but he expects that to grow significantly.
The momentum has changed.
That's thanks to public funding aimed at tackling climate change and air pollution. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is distributing $5 billion to school districts to buy low and zero emission buses. The money comes from the bipartisan infrastructure law that passed a couple years ago. Smith says Bluebird will sell about $1 billion worth of electric school buses because of it.
What's interesting about it is that we're seeing orders from states that you would not expect,
like Kentucky, Utah, and Nevada. Currently, Bluebird has capacity to manufacture 4 electric buses a day. But the company's building out a facility to be able to build as many as 20 a day by the end of the year.
For us, it's a pretty exciting time in our history.
There's also potentially changes coming for the workers. They recently voted to unionize, asking for better pay, work-life balance, and safer conditions. The union says with the company benefiting from federal incentives, it's only fair that the workers do too. And it's notable that Bluebird is profitable with electric buses, says Mike Schliske, a senior research analyst at D.A. Davidson.
There's a lot of flash, a lot of new companies don't turn it before, and a lot of capital being raised. But the company that's actually doing it just as good as all of that, if not better, is Bluebird.
And Bluebird trainer Antonio Bryant says he can see his handiwork on the roads. His dad works in a rural Georgia school system and recently told him his district is getting an electric bus from his factory.
I do this so my hometown get one that I actually built.
His dad may be getting to drive one of his buses. He says that's kind of cool. In Fort Valley, Georgia, I'm Molly Samuel for Marketplace.
And in New York, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.